We have an annular solar eclipse on a new moon in Libra. What a time. What a time. Well, you're likely feeling the buildup. We're a few days away. And lots is going on because the nodal axis has shifted also from Taurus Scorpio the last couple of years, now moving to Aries Libra for the next couple of years. So the whole axis of the themes and the push-pull inside us or in our society is shifted. This new moon will emphasize it. Although the new moon is in Libra, the south node is in Libra, amongst other things. So it's emphasizing where we've been, past, where we're coming from, instead of where we're going or where we need to go. We're going to look in the chart and see what else there is to emphasize the forward direction, future direction. But when the south node and the past direction is in Libra, very likely, if it was a person, not, a chart trying to apply to all of us, if it was a person, you would expect they've had many lifetimes where they are negotiating, where there are maybe even negotiations that are legal in nature, paperwork related. They could be facilitators, mediators. Some cases can be artists with Libra, musicians. But a lot of the time, it's probably going to play out like the people pleaser, the one always in between, sometimes a meddler. So that's the shadow side of Libra. And because it's south node and where we're coming from, we might see the shadow side because we need to overcome this now. It's a question of like, stop weighing things so badly and decide. Stop, playing one side against the other. Oh, but what about, and the underdog and poor them. And that's maybe a dangerous statement to say because it's not advocating like, just do what you want and screw everybody else. No. This is for the people that are endlessly weighing things and endlessly procrastinating or can't take a stance that allows them to move on. And the stance is for Libra that you are the scales of justice. You are being asked to weigh what is fair and decide. And that's not easy. So this, to me, this new moon eclipse is very likely going to pressure us to finally make a long overdue decision. Before I launch into this, because I usually forget to promote myself, I would love it if you would click the little bell, if you would subscribe, if you would put a little like on it, on this video if you've been watching me. And I would also love it if you came to my Intuition Cafe page on Facebook. It's free. We just practice our intuition all the time. And so it's a like-minded community where you're not crazy to say what vibe you're getting on something. And I'm going to start to develop that more and more as I see what people like and want or are wanting from it. So you can see that on Facebook, Intuition Cafe. For all other requests, if you are looking for personal readings or coaching or any kind of help, please go to my website, river.rain.info. And I've got a couple upcoming courses. If you are online, you can take this course even if you're not a McGill student, but it's with the McGill University. It's called the SSMU, or the mini courses, McGill University mini courses. Anybody can take them. There will be students, but they can be non-students as well. And my course there is going to be 6 weeks, Introduction to Divination. And that is based on my upcoming book next year. And finally, if you are local in the Montreal area, I have another course that is live, which is at École Setsuko, which is a healing school for Chinese medicine, acupressure, dietetics, massage therapy in Montreal. And I will be teaching a 7-week series on the chakras, how to develop your intuition through clearing your chakras. It's going to be good. All right, let's dive into the chart. All right. The chart looks remarkably simple to me when I see the aspect lines, which can be deceiving, you know. If it feels complex, maybe the energy is, maybe it's all over. You know, many of these charts I analyze for you have very much like, I'm telling you where the flowing parts are, what to focus on, where the conflicts are. And in this case, it just feels simpler. So perhaps what you need to do, or what comes up, or what you're faced with will be quite simple and clear. Doesn't mean it's easy. Because look at the cluster of planets we've got sitting here all together now. This is what we call a stellium. 5, well, South Node isn't a planet. So, but 5 influences, 4 planets. Actually 3 planets, 1 moon and one influence. All in Libra. Well, Scorpio, 1 degree Scorpio. Mars has just entered Scorpio. So we'll talk about that too. Oi, oi, oi. The passionate Scorpio Mars. The controlling Scorpio Mars. The adjuster of karma. The I'll get you back. I saw that. I remembered that. Now, what's opposing this new moon? Chiron, the wounded healer, and the North Node. Oi. This has almost given me a feeling from the get-go that a lot of us might still procrastinate one more time about making that move towards the future, because whatever it's asking you, whatever this polarity is that's asking you to resolve a conflict, let go of something, move forward, say where you stand, you might not, because it's Chiron you're headed towards. You have to expose and deal with your wounds directly to move forward. And many people will either just not want to or not have the capacity to do that. And that's fine, honestly. You know, when you're dealing with your core wounds, you have to have a lot of strength and courage and some support in your life. Otherwise, it can crush you. You know, it can throw you off badly. So you'll have to see how you feel when you're confronted with whatever this is. Hopefully a lot of us will be ready to say, you know what, I've addressed my wounds. I'm ready to overcome them. I'm ready to really look at them even more than I have before, so that I can start to heal the deeper stuff. And others will just sort of, you know, you'll get a flyby, you'll get a little glimpse, you'll get a reminder, but you might not be ready. Looks pretty intense, gotta say. So, you know, the sun and the new moon are both in Libra at 21 degrees, which I did look up for you. The Sabian symbol, which the Sabian symbols are really interesting, and they're one way that in the well-known magazine in the US called The Mountain Astrologer, which I've been reading for like off and on for 20 years, they very often rely on the Sabian symbols to give us an idea of what predictively could happen from a certain aspect. So when we look up 21 degrees of Libra, we get a crowded beach. Doesn't sound so bad, does it? So it's basically telling us to have a live and let live attitude, right? What can you do on a crowded beach? You're going to get mad? that you can't spread out, that you don't have peace and quiet. No, you're going to be like, well, we'll make the most of it. We're here on the beach at least. Person next to me is spitting sand. And the one on the other side has got a boom box, don't like their music. Oh, well, you do you. At least I'm here. There's that. There's that possibility. There's also a possibility of feeling sort of lost and lonely in a crowd, or getting sunburned. So it's an interesting allegory for this. Now you go from that crowded beach or lost in the crowd to the opposite, which is, as I said, Chiron and the North Node in Aries, like directly facing a wound. The other thing that this might bring up as you're facing said wound, when something triggers you around this eclipse, pay attention to what that wound is. It's something about your sense of self. Are you clear in who you are? Do you feel seen? Do you feel validated, heard? Are you validating and hearing yourself? Or are you lost in the crowd at the beach? Not waving but drowning. That's the thing with Libra. It can, we need that influence badly in life where people do know how to just let go, accept, be a bit passive for the sake of peace, not pick every wound, not go deep diving all the time. Like, we need that for civil society. We need that just for a mental break, and that requires compromising and people pleasing sometimes, negotiating always. But as we said, this is a south node and it wants us to move on. So it could mean in this case that the Libra planets are going to emphasize almost like capitulating instead of taking a look at who you are. It's like almost, I'd rather be lost than deal with myself. Could be another way of looking at it. And in this weird world with this crazy economy and all this upheaval and, well, dissolution of life as we've known it post-COVID, I don't blame anybody if that's what they wanted, if that's what they need to do right now to feel okay. But if, as I said, if you do feel well supported and you feel like you've got a bit of fire, a bit of courage, and you're like, you know what, I'm tired of carrying this wound. I'm tired of not being seen. I do know who I am. I'm going to show it. I'm going to assert myself. I'm not going to be so afraid to separate myself from the crowd. And if I feel a bit lonely in doing so, if it's for my higher good, I'm going to do it. So some of you hopefully will be in that position. Now, the kicker is that even for the people that want to stay comfortable in the comfort zone and not ready to grow, Pluto's going to come along here and kick your butt because it's squaring that south node, all of it. See, Mercury, moon, sun, and south node, it's squaring it all. So it's saying, chop, chop, man, come on. It is not squaring Chiron. Interestingly, the wound, it is squaring the North Node. So it puts you in, Pluto and Capricorn. It's these last degrees of Capricorn. It's going to, it is part of this dissolution of this capitalist model that we've been in for so long. And I'm not saying everything's going to fall apart overnight. I'm just saying there's things that we took for granted that were just normal parts of the way society works that now are being eroded or they're gone. And Pluto, it's all about transformation and upheaval and you know, yeah, the tough stuff, the challenging things, intensity of things. So between the nodes, it's putting you in a dilemma. Like if you choose you, there's upheaval. If you're passive and don't, there's still some sense of upheaval or change that you might not like. Either way, because of this squaring aspect of Pluto to the nodes, you might feel like you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. So again, that's a very Libra theme. Why can't I please everybody and have everyone just get along? Why isn't there a solution that everybody'd be happy with? I know, right? We all wish there was, but there isn't really. So Aries would say, well, choose yourself because you can't please everybody else. You can't please anybody else. And if that triggers you to hear that statement, or you're nervous to do that, that might be the wound. Because yeah, you'll be standing out on your own going, I don't want to do that anymore. And everyone's going, come on, just suck it up one more time so that we can all have a peaceful, whatever it is. And you'll be like, I get that, but I can't. In my soul, in my bones, I can't anymore. I can't. So you could be in that type of dilemma, whether it's family or work or within your own household or something, your neighborhood. So again, the dilemma of choosing. And Mars just kicked into Scorpio, so that could give a little bit of get up and go to it. Mars in Scorpio is going to also be very, astute to sort of see deeper. Can also be a bit obsessive, but it's not going to just rest and do nothing about it. And it is Mars. Mars originally ruled Scorpio before Pluto ruled it. Now, thank goodness. Oh, is it squaring Pluto as well? Yeah, doesn't look like it. So good thing Pluto isn't squaring Mars, or the changes and upheavals would have been even more dramatic or come with more fallout. So Mars and Scorpio is like, okay, you're starting to be ready to deal with some of the deeper emotions going on. You're not going to shy away from seeing some of the truths. You might find this sort of inner psychologist coming out. Mars and Scorpio also, though, could be quite hedonistic, and if you're deciding that, okay, I'm going to capitulate, I'm not quite ready to make any of these huge changes she's talking about, well, you might go do some other behavior that releases a lot of tension, let's just say, whether you're drinking or exercising too much or doing other stuff. Mars and Scorpio, like eating, it can be a bit obsessive addictive with Mars and Scorpio, and that influence will be around for a few weeks, 6 weeks usually. I didn't double check how long Mars is in Scorpio, but it's here for the fall up to Christmas ish. So that will make it interesting. It'll give us a bit of courage, though. Mars rules Aries. Mars is former ruler of Scorpio. So let's see what else these aspects are doing. Do we have any help here? And we do. We go into our nice aspects now. Where are things working well? Well, the new moon and sun plus the south node are connecting with a nice trine to Saturn in Pisces. Best solution possible is, if you're not ready to address core wounds, is to live and let live and focus on having compassion and tolerance for everybody around you. Saturn in Pisces is exactly that. And it's working well with those planets. So it would sort of say, if you can just sit back, if you're at a big gathering or you've got a big, shit show going on at work with too many people in the kitchen or where you're constantly distracted, or there's too many people in the house, too much noise in the neighborhood, whatever's bothering you, if you can just go, they're just being them. Nobody means it. It's not personal. Doesn't bother me that much. I can just take my space this way, or I can just let them do it, or I can just put my headphones on, or find a solution, and the highest possible way that this could play out, the noble way would be the negotiative side of Libra mixed with the compassionate side of Pisces. Could be somebody who facilitates a solution or a discussion that actually is in the highest good of all. Wouldn't that be lovely? Now, what else is working well? So we shift over here and we see that Pluto is also making a nice trine with Uranus, like last time. This is ongoing for a while. So what does it mean again? Well, Uranus is also like being experimental, sudden changeability, a bit erratic, a bit innovative, pushing the envelope, and Pluto is more controlling than that, but ultimately they can both work together to make a lot of big changes, a lot of big changes. So that's still trining each other. To me, those are outer forces of big social change that we're all going through right now, a restructuring of society. At least they're harmonious. A while back, Uranus was squaring it. Wasn't so easy. Now, what else is going well here? Well, we've got a nice Jupiter in Taurus still. Very nice. Jupiter's happy there. And it is trine Venus in Virgo. So Venus trine Jupiter is lovely. Venus in Virgo wants everything to be perfect, wants everything to be pure and healthy and labeled and clear and methodical, and just nothing can go wrong. Very precise taste. Jupiter, come along and help that out. It's just going to give that Venus in Virgo the oomph it needs to go out there and, I don't know, reinvent your wardrobe or organize something for the fall season or revamp or go through the nitty-gritty of something. Awesome. There's lots to be done in this season for preparation for winter. It's a great aspect for preparations of anything detailed you want to do right now that requires that mindset, studying something, writing something, cleaning and organizing, fixing, having patience for something. And if it comes to your taste, maybe you're going to get lucky and find something you truly love. It's exactly what you wanted, because Venus and Jupiter are together. Like, oh my God, it's even better than I thought. So then the others are minor, but they still help out. So Mars is making a nice sextile to Venus. So, again, that obsessive, passionate, sensuous Mars could clamp on with Venus, and they both go, oh, let's do that. And they just dive into it and enjoy it like maniacs. It could be it's like the equivalent of binge watching something that you love. Maybe you'll be doing that. Maybe you'll be binge watching something you love. That could be the vibe. What else is a minor aspect here? We've got Pluto is sextiling Neptune. Honestly, Neptune sextiling Uranus as well. To me, Pluto Uranus is just too strong together. They're going I have this master plan and I'm going to change the world. Oh yeah, me too, but I think we should do it this way. And they go, yeah, I agree, but I want to have control of it. Yeah, but let's just try that. Oh, let's throw this in the mix. And they're vying for like positioning us, like who is going to change things and how. It's too big for Neptune. Like, ooh, Neptune, do I see the foggy cloud? Ooh, is that my fingers or is that something else? I don't know. Yeah, though Neptune's tripping in Pisces. It's too soft to really do much. So what would it do? Could slightly enhance or soften the other dynamic a little bit. You know, we're in a time of everything, so much is changing, innovation, things that scare us too, but it's still innovative. Um, you know, I'm sort of tempted to talk about recent developments when it comes to Israel and Palestine and Gaza, but I don't know. I don't really feel like pulling up charts for that and weighing in on political things. But suffice to say, when you have the outbreak of what people are calling a war, it's more than just the level of conflict that we've been used to seeing between them. And you've got two eclipses in 1 month on a 50th anniversary to boot. There could be something game changing as far as decision making in that area. Let's hope there is, you know, when we're talking about Libra Aries, let's hope that there are genuine changes, not just not outright war ongoing. Let's hope. But at the same time, we can probably all admit that this has been so ongoing for so long. Something has to deeply change, more than just your average diplomatic talks or agreements like band-aids slapped on all over again until the next time. It needs to be deeper than that. So I don't know whether we'll arrive at something like that under these influences, but we have two eclipses in 1 month, and this has erupted, you know, within a week. Yeah, about within a week, a little bit before of this eclipse. So it will be quite interesting. Now, the path of the eclipse in North America is going to run more from like Texas up to Oregon. So that little Midwest, Southwest section where they're going to see it the most profoundly, the Ring of Fire. It says for about 17 seconds, and they'll see it in Nicaragua. So if that's the trajectory, I haven't looked whether the eclipse is actually passing over the Middle East in any way or Israel, Palestine. It doesn't seem like it, but I can double check. Because then it would just sort of mean to me, or for astrologers, something more significant could come, even more significantly could come out of that right now. Also, there's just so much conflict all over the world. It's too hard to weigh in on all of it. This is just the most recent dramatic thing that's come up for me to comment, but I can't possibly comment on everything all around the globe all at once on a chart. So that's about it, folks. You know, it's really like ultra simple themes. So because of that, I would say most of us will feel some sense of pressure or trigger to decide or move on, blend in with the crowd and accept, try to elevate and negotiate between people, or you may have your moment where you must define and distinguish yourself. It's quite a simple but intense message, right? All right, let's take a look at the tarot now. Now, if you are a Libra or an Aries, pretty intense time. especially if you're born towards the end of the sign where these planets are hitting. So 21 degrees Libra is going to be about, yeah, it's going to be people born like 15, 16, 17 of October. Also, if you are born and your sun is around 21, anywhere between like 18 to 24 degrees of Cancer or Capricorn, you're feeling it too, because Pluto's squaring off with all this. And so, yeah. And as I said last time with our full moon, because some of these aspects were there as well, when you've got a lot of things going on between Libra and Aries, and then Pluto, Capricorn, all the cardinal signs, Cap plus Cancer, you're going to feel the chessboard moving. You're going to feel pressure to, the things you launch in motion, the things you decide will have big repercussions on many areas of your life at once. So it moves the dominoes forward. All right, let's just see, what else can we expect with this eclipse? All right, so first card is the universe. Well, my goodness, could almost stop there. Some taroists believe that if you pull the universe card, the reading's done because it's the end of the chapter. Don't worry, I'll keep pulling cards. But it's interesting, the first card is the end of the chapter. So this is a time of a lot of evaluation with this card. It's like when you start thinking, should I get rid of that guitar, or should I pick it up and learn it? Should I make amends to so-and-so, or should I just call it a day and accept that chapter of our lives is over? Should I take those courses I've been always thinking about, or do I just not want to? It was an old dream. It's not relevant now. So this is how it rolls with the universe card, and the evaluation is long. Maybe some of you are already in a huge evaluation. It all depends where you are on your evaluation journey, whether you're ready to close a chapter or whether you're just beginning to evaluate. Oh, this is nice. We got the sun. This is happy news. It looks like after this evaluation period is done, or some decisions are made, you'll feel quite happy, and things are going to be much more shiny and in flow. Now, Ten of Swords, yeah. Well, with these other two cards and then the Ten of Swords, this doesn't bother me as much because it says a ruin. It's usually when people are just mentally absolutely exhausted. Maybe you are. Sometimes, though, a lot of people need to get to that point before they actually let go or decide. You must be utterly, utterly, utterly exhausted and fed up, sick of your own thoughts, sick of the arguments. Then you'll let go. Then you'll move on. So I'd say it's more like that. Like there'll be a releasing of the extreme hamster wheel. Ah, yeah. The Magician is next. Look at this major arcanas, 3 of them. The Magician is like, you are ready. You're on fire. You're ready to launch something new into the world after that decision. You're going to feel so good that you decided or let go of something, that you're going to be on fire. You're going to be like wanting to tackle something new and have the energy for it. Oh my goodness. So this the Wheel of Fortune. Whatever you need to purge from your soul, please do it, because these cards are amazing. After that, you're just going to be like a rocket, just on fire and on point. Something like a destiny moment. You finally let go and something swoops in, something surprises you, something amazing happens. Okay, this is funny. We got two great ones and then All right, the Eight of Cups. Well, this can be hopelessness, but doesn't make any sense with these cards. This could be what you're overcoming. I don't know if some of you have been feeling hopeless, and why bother? Because the Magician, Wheel of Fortune, Sun, no, that is not hopeless, and why bother at all. You might start to see this aspect that you were that way in your past. You might be shedding or forgiving yourself or other people for, being depressed and wanting to give up on stuff. It can happen to anybody. Anybody can hit a low. It doesn't matter how great, how rich, how talented, how beautiful. Anybody can hit a low. So there might be people around you that you just notice are hitting those lows. And this card is also Saturn and Pisces. So you might be in a position to really uplift or help somebody who's down. Only if you have let go of your own and you're feeling this surge of energy, though. And the Two of Wands. So there's some friction or argument or opposition, maybe as you launch your new direction, or somebody's not happy about what you're doing. But you know what? That is just life. That's just what change and life are about. That's the lesson of Libra. Like, you can't please everybody. You have to decide sometimes. And some people won't like it. And you got the Prince of Cups. So the person who might be opposing you, if they do, or your decisions or your plans, could be somebody who's very sensitive, maybe a little bit nervous to lose you, maybe a little envious. They wish they had that kind of strength. And at the same time, this person also needs to sort of emotionally grow up a little bit and make big decisions himself. And if he's not doing that, then he might resent you for the changes you're making, because he knows deep down he should be making them for himself, but he's not ready. And finally, we got the Queen of Cups. So the Queen and the Prince, that's more like a mother-son dynamic, or a big sister, little brother dynamic. So, there's someone around, maybe this is you, or there's people around that will help negotiate or help that other person understand or support them. And that person could be you as well. I'm pulling one last card just in case, and I get the Nine of Wands, which is strength. And so this is a card when you have built something up through risks, through strategy, something has really worked well, and it's in a good harmony, and now it must be maintained. So for those of you who are moving on and confronting whatever demons, who are letting go and saying no more of this, or I'm finally going to do that, you will encounter some resistance, and you must maintain your flag, if you will. Do it anyway, as long as it's not hurting anyone else, truly. Let's take a look then at the cards for each sign and how the eclipse will play out for your sign. I'm just going to be general again. But, let's sort of ask, maybe, are there any decisions? What is the crossroads that you're at? What is the decision you need to make? And okay, I'm just going to put them out in front of me. All right, how's this eclipse going to play out for you, Aries? Because it might be pretty intense for you. You've got the Chariot. which means that you're trying to pull people together. You're trying to consolidate two different things at once. This could be actual people, but it could also just be aspects of your own life, trying to merge, let's say, you know, your work-life balance, for lack of a better generic term. It could be just harnessing a couple sides of yourself. You know, maybe you're trying to figure out what direction is best for you to go and you're feeling like you're pulled in two. I get a feeling it's more about your life direction than it is about people. But it's possible if you are working around people or manage people in some way that you're mediating or trying to bring different factions on board on the same team. And it's also for a bigger goal or for your own ambitious goal that you want to bring people together. And it will take some work. But I feel like you're up to the task. You got the energy right now. Taurus, what does your eclipse bring? Nine of Swords. Well, it's not a nice card. Sorry, Taurus. Sometimes the card is, you know, deception and cruelty. It says cruelty on the card. Other times it's mental anguish, anxiety, feeling torn. You know, sometimes this is the card of like gossiping, rumors. So, if there's anyone like this in your life, or, you know, hopefully you're not that person. If you're feeling like you're not being treated properly or with transparency, you're probably going to confront it. If you're not being treated well, or something or somebody or a situation is giving you intense anxiety or disrespect, I think you're going to do something about it. Geminis. That Two of Wands is back for you here. So, bit of an argumentative or standoff, battle of wills with somebody. Hopefully it doesn't get too heated, but expect a little friction and a lot of talking it over. Hopefully not yelling and screaming, hopefully constructive. But, you know, why is this happening? Well, things have been suppressed and not said for too long, and they build up. And if they don't come out well, meaning like we need a Libra mediator in this case, if they don't come out well, you'll just have more, you know, conflict and bad blood to untangle in the future. So as hard as it might be, keep communicating and trying to be really clear and really constructive about this so that you can move through whatever that is, because it feels old, feels like old stuff coming up. Cancers, what is your eclipse about? You've got the Prince of Swords. So someone around you that is maybe clever, quite smart, quite charming, not very good emotionally. Sometimes anxious, yeah, but also just conflicted. He's so conflicted in himself and torn that sometimes he can be very sneaky or manipulative. If there's someone like that in your midst, very likely things will come to a head during this eclipse season. And I would see, honestly, I feel a removal from your life, or at least very strict boundaries with this person, how they're allowed to communicate or interact or have access to you, if at all. Leo. Oh, that's good. So Leo, you've got the Two of Swords, which is peace. So you might be able to bring some of that leadership ability to the table. There could be like a reconnection or a making amends, and it's a Moon in Libra card, and the Moon's in Libra. So negotiations, peace talks, making amends, laying down the swords, understandings, connecting again after not connecting for a while. This is very nice for you, Leo. It's funny, even the readings feel very simplistic right now. It's so crazy, like how like blunt, like, well, it's like the sign, it's like the Aries. It's just like a very blunt object, like that's it. It's simple. Chop, do this, do that. They're in or they're out. You tell them or you don't. Like, bah. All right, Virgos. You've got the Queen of Wands. So again, for you, like Queen of Wands is all about, you know, is it positive leadership or is it somebody who's too dominant? Is it somebody who's like guiding everybody and helping them to see clearly? Or is it somebody who's like micromanaging and overstepping and helicoptering? So you're just going to probably confront that. You know, if it's you, if you're overdoing it, you'll know people will just stop doing what you ask, or they will seem like they're not listening. They'll be looking away or like, yeah, I heard you. Yeah. Like if people feel bombarded by too many directions or ideas, if it's one-sided or they feel dominated, then they're going to pull away from you. And if they do, then just ask yourself, maybe you're just overexcited. Maybe just give people some space. And if it's you who's dealing with someone like that, again, you might need some space from that person. Doesn't feel too bad though, really. So, and it could also turn out in a positive way too, by the way. Like you might really step into your leadership abilities here. It might be wonderful, or you might have someone who steps into theirs and you're part of the team. So it can go both ways. I get a better feeling about this for it being in the good side than the negative side this time. All right, Libras, this is your big eclipse. So what's your card? Oh, you're kidding me. The Death card. Okay. I would say life is going to force you to take a stand and take a side. Wow. Usually you do not want to. If you do, though, it's on something that you've been waffling about and maybe frustrated with and been talking about for way too long. It's not like you don't know deep down where you stand. You've just been too afraid to put your foot down or say it out loud because you don't want to cause waves. But look at the Death card. He's cutting away the strings that bind and the light comes. If you don't take a stand, you risk losing more in this case, if you get my meaning. You can lose yourself even further if you keep avoiding taking a stand when you're asked to. You can overplease to the point where you lose yourself. There's going to be something where you have to, but it's going to turn out for the better. All right, Scorpios. 9 of Cups. That's happy. That's nice. So for you, this eclipse will be quite nice. Mars entering your sign is probably going to give you a bit of boost. Feeling like feeling of support. feeling of getting along, connecting, being understood, being celebrated even. This is nice. Very nice for you. Especially those of you born right at the beginning. So like October 23rd, 24th, 25th, you're going to be feeling it. The Mars, it's energizing you. And this is the happiness card. So get out there right now. Get out there and meet people. Don't sit home. Get out there and socialize, date, network, whatever. It's going to be very nice. You are magnetic right now, more than usual. Sagittarius. The Tower. Well, nobody likes the Tower. The Tower means that there's some sort of long overdue. We told you once, twice, three times. Now we're forcing you to change, to do something different. What's this going to be about? I'm hearing something about it's related to facing your own limitations. Maybe you've been overextended, overworked. Maybe you're taking on way too much. Maybe it's in the case of taking on too much work, but also could be taking on, you know, a responsibility for something that's above and beyond what you're responsible for or humanly possible. It could also be that you're making yourself sick over something that you've been working on or trying to change, or I don't know, that you wish were different about somebody or about the world. So I get a feeling this isn't like some horrible destructive moment, but inwardly it can feel like the Tower if you have to say, oh my God, I'm at my max. I can't. And Sag, because you're so like upbeat and go and have so much energy, you hate admitting like, oh, I'm too tired or I can't. So you'll have to forgive yourself for reaching a limit. Everybody has them. Sag is all about no limits, no boundaries, but yeah, we all have them. And so take a look if you have any signs of burnout or overwhelm, or even, you know what, anxiety. To me, I've definitely lived through it myself as well. The higher the anxiety, the more you are off course from being true to yourself and going way beyond your limits or in the wrong ballpark or with the wrong crowd. You will get more and more anxious because everything in you is going, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. You know, when you're so anxious, you just keep doing it anyway. And then you'll hit a wall. Things will start to fall apart, or you won't be able to sustain it. It's because it's not true to you. So that's one other way to reframe this, is like, are you really being true to yourself? There might be a moment where you realize, oh, whew, Capricorns. That's very nice. You've got Four of Swords, which is truce. Again, another card of Libra, Jupiter in Libra. So it's like socializing, networking, laying down the swords. You see, there's four swords meeting in the middle over a flower surrounded in green, which would be like a heart chakra color. So, and look around all of the swords where the green is. It looks like a mess. It looks like electricity, right? Like too much talking, too many signals. And somehow in the midst of that, these swords manage to carve out a space and talk and come together and make some peace with each other. So if this could be just purely pleasurable and, you know, something good could come out of it, collaboration or just more bonding, or it could literally be with people that you've previously had some distress and now you're able, for whatever reason, to sit down and talk. So this is really positive for you, this eclipse. And, you know, Pluto was almost out of your sign. By the time we get to January, that's it. You're done. This difficult chapter for Capricorns is ending. So possibly, that being said, since it's been a long chapter, 2008, there could be a lot of peace talks and amends that to come in the future because you were going through so much. All right, Aquarius. Oh, lucky you. You get the love card. Love is in the air. So for you, this eclipse, it's interesting. All the Libra, well, yeah, it falls in your ninth house typically. It's not really love, but hmm, hmm. I don't know why, but somehow all the Libra is gonna soften you, and it's going to allow you to let people in more than usual. You might be more sensitive than usual, or let people see that you're actually sensitive all the time. But you might let people see it. For those of you in a couple, you know, this might be a nice spice up time of it. And for those of you who are single, I just get this feeling that you're more ready, you're more open, you're more receptive, there's more people around. It's in the air for you. That's very nice. And finally, Pisces. And you get the Magician, which is great. So Pisces, you can really go for it with your dreams and plans. Obviously, you make sure that they are realistic and backed up and blah, blah, blah. We're not saying, you know, wahoo, no matter what you want to do, it'll work. We're saying if you've thought it through and you've got the skills and you've been hesitating and you want to bust out and start something new, you do it. You just do it. This eclipse could really well, it could give you the courage to take the leap, to start something you've been meaning to start, that you've been hesitating. And because feeling I get is you've got all the talent. It's not about that. Have you done a realistic assessment of time, of budget? That's about it. Otherwise, feels to me like you just got to go for it. What a funky reading, what a funky feeling this is for this eclipse. Wow. Well, you know, so many people are going to be going through like moments of rebirth or reckoning or busting out. It's going to be interesting times for sure. Interesting times. All right. As mentioned, if you wanted to sign up for any of my courses, I will have them all in the links below this video. It's probably only Pisces still watching this right now anyway. So Pisces, if you need a reading, you give me a call. All right, take care.